Hey everybody, welcome to RefTime, powered by RTS and produced by Coraggio Media. I'm Tanya.
And I'm Crane. We'll be covering rules, plays, points of emphasis, and all things official. So Tom, thanks for joining us for another segment of RefTime, and we really appreciate you being here.
Hey, glad to be here.
All right. We were just thinking about this. We were talking about it. How did we meet? I know you came through a class, but how did you remember how we met?
That was officially how we met, was him coming through our class.
Yep.
So take us back in time. How long you been officiating?
This is my 4th year now.
Okay, so 4 years ago you got involved in officiating. You always wanted to?
Always wanted to, but I had 3 boys, and I was very active in their sports and coaching. So once they moved on and got into graduation and into college and stuff like that, I thought it's dad time.
So when you were coaching your boys, what did you coach? What sports did you coach?
Soccer, baseball, football when they're younger, but mainly basketball. And I always enjoyed basketball. I played basketball, so that was my love. So when they moved on, I searched the web and came across your school.
That's how we got you.
Yeah.
Okay. Because we talk about you all the time. You were probably one of our favorite students.
Well,
definitely challenged me because
I remember he came to the class.
Yes, he would challenge me on the rules. He's like, no, I think I found that in section such and such, and I'd be like, no, Tom, it's in this one right here. And then and it was like one of those things, and I loved it though because it was just
it made you sharper.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So
the class he went. Now my memory's coming back. You came through the PFW class.
IPFW back in the back section there.
Right.
Yep.
And her and I talk about this. I think that was our biggest class we've had since we started doing RTS. But I think we go back and forth. I tell her I think we started out with 16 students.
Correct. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it whittled down. We were talking about it the other day. 16 started. I don't know how many finished, but as far as who got licensed, I think it was 4.
Yeah, 3 or 4, I thought.
Yeah. Yep. It was you,
Brian,
Carrie.
Carrie
I
Carrie
think
get
she
licensed?
got licensed, but
She
I don't
just
think she
hadn't
ever
been,
did
she didn't get on the
anything.
floor. And then Jessica.
Yep.
I don't think anybody else got licensed out of that class.
No. And I've refereed with both Brian and Jessica
Yeah.
since then. So
Yeah. Well, we've talked to Carrie a couple of times, and she's a happy mama now. So yeah.
Good for her.
Yeah. So so tell us. You say you coached your kids in basketball. Were you one of those parents who? Yeah, well, he probably was one of those parents, wasn't he? No, well, because we talk about, and you have too, coaches, these weekend warrior dad coaches who don't know the rules, don't care about the rules. All they care about is developing their own kid on their own team.
I was a hard critic on my kid.
Okay.
That's the reason why I got into coaching. I thought my kids were very blessed in sports. Put them in peewee. Baseball.
Mm-hmm.
My kid got stuck out in the outfield. I'm going, he's as good as anybody else. Well, I know how this is playing out. The coach's kids are playing shortstop and stuff like that.
First base.
And,
yeah.
So
pitching.
That's where I need to get involved in coaching. So, but like I said, I work with my kids, and they're very blessed. And I was always, if they got as much bench time as anybody else. So I was trying to be fair and enjoyed every minute of it. So
all right. So in officiating, so you got involved in officiating about 4 years ago. Basketball. Do you officiate anything else?
No, not at this time.
Because we were just talking about you need to get your volleyball license.
Correct.
We can help you with that. Do you have in the last 4 years? Do you have any career officiating highlights? Anything that kind of sticks out in your mind? Something significant?
I enjoy picking up the games I am now and just keeping busy. Be honest with you, I don't, at my age and stuff like that, I'm not looking to go college or pro.
Okay.
But I enjoy the game just to keep me busy, good exercise, make a little extra cash, and be around the kids.
Absolutely.
So what's your craziest situation that ever happened in a game?
It's happened a couple times where I've called a foul and went to the scorer's table and gave the wrong number. Then
Done
they,
that.
Been
Yep.
there, done that.
Gave
that-
the wrong color.
Yep.
Then a couple possessions down, they've called me to the bench and said, "Who was the foul on?" And you have no idea who.
No idea. It's like one of those players over there.
That would have been nice had you asked me that 3
Then.
plays ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had that.
That's the most embarrassing when you're in front of a high school, doing a JV game or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And they're stopping the game because of you, and you have no idea what's going on.
Well, hopefully your partner helped you out.
Hopefully. Now, one thing is, in terms of, I was talking to a young lady the other day and about her profession. I ask you this: do you have any idea of how many games you've done thus far in your 4 years? If you had to take a ballpark, if you have to take a wild guess ballpark figure, what would you give us? How many games?
So I've done 3 years solid right now. Going in my 4th year, I would say I've done 700.
Wow.
I did last year I think it was 321 games last year.
For the whole year? That 1 year?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. and part of that is because we do, like, the AAU stuff where you're
Correct.
doing 4, 5, 6 games
Correct.
in
Yeah.
one day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
And
adds up.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. All right, so we're going to move on to our second quarter now. And we're going to talk about some rules or things that, let's talk about what is one of your pet peeves when you show up to a game? What do you, what's something that kind of drives you, I guess? Like for me, it would be probably uniforms or jewelry. What's a pet peeve of yours?
Stopping the game because kids don't know how to tie their shoes correctly.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know if that has to do with a rule, but so
I don't think I can look that one
Yeah.
up.
I'm sitting there thinking, I wish they made more Velcro shoes.
Especially when it's like 3rd through 6th graders
Yeah.
because they take the longest. And
Yeah.
I love it. It's okay when we have a running clock. I'm like, okay, take your time, tie your shoe.
So do you actually kneel down and tie the shoe up for a kid?
No, I don't. I've gotten a habit now running by and say, "Hey, Johnny number 10 needs his
Yeah.
shoes tied, and you need to take him out and do
Ab-
it instead of slowing the game down." But rule-wise, probably the number one pet peeve is hand checks.
Okay.
What
Yeah.
about it?
Kids like to guard with their hands
Yep.
instead of their feet.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That is true.
So
So when you say hand check, you're saying that that's a rule you like to call, or is a rule you don't, or is that a rule that you wish you didn't have to call?
I didn't
more?
have to call. It's a lot of trying to talk with a whistle in your mouth. Watch your hands. Watch your hands.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I feel I do a lot of that. I think.
Do you use a lanyard?
Yeah,
Do you use the one that hangs from your shirt or from around your neck?
around the neck.
I do too, and I've learned to take my whistle out of my mouth and talk to people.
Okay.
Hands, or sometimes it like you're saying, it happens so fast.
Yep.
Like last night, I was doing 3 games at the seminary, and I'm like, hands, and these are older
Yep.
guys, hands, and finally I just call it, and they go, listen to me.
Yep.
But you're right, when they're younger, they don't understand that talk.
But it's a high school. It's just aggravating because
Yeah.
Right.
they'll stop at a couple possessions, and next thing you know, they're right back at it.
Right back
But
at it. Yeah.
I've learned now I could talk with a whistle in my mouth. You get
Yeah.
used to it. And
Yes.
Yeah.
one thing, speaking of whistles, it's just when you first become an official, how your jaw hurts because you have that
Yes,
whistle,
yes.
and people say, "Hey, get in the habit before the season, chew gum."
Yeah.
And get your jaw thrown. Well, I've never gone to that extreme. You do get used to it.
Yeah.
Well, this one she can't do a game without her gum.
I can. I like to
Yeah.
have gum in my mouth because
But-
my
It
throat
drives
gets
her
dry.
crazy because we can be literally on our way to the school, and she'll go, "Ah," and I know what's coming. I'm driving. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm not gonna say anything.
I forgot my gum.
And she'll go, "Ah, I forgot my gum. Like, can't you do it without it? No, it's like, but I've understood now. Some people, they have to have it to keep their throat
Mhm.
Yeah.
lubricated, like you say, to get ready for the whistle. I never thought of that because I use the kind of whistle that has that rubber piece.
Yeah,
on
so
it.
do I.
Yeah, and I've chewed mine away, so now I got to get another
Yeah.
whistle because I chew on my whistle so much.
I tell you, initially when I got into officiating, I didn't chew the gum because of my throat. I had the gum in my mouth because it calmed me.
Mm.
It made me more relaxed.
Hmm.
So that way when I had to make a call, like that, I don't know, it was the soothing of the peppermint or the spearmint or whatever it might have been that just kind of helped release like a calmness for me. But now it's more, it helps my throat stay.
I don't think I could do it.
dry.
I'm lucky to run with a whistle in my mouth, let alone take on another task and chew.
I'm the same, dude.
I don't chew it. It's just there. I'm not chewing the gum while
Yeah.
officiating. It's just sitting
It's like
there.
a habit thing, because I'm like you. I'm thinking if I got to chew gum,
I'd be swallowing it.
and and it's get stuck on my whistle.
Yep.
And no, that's just not going to happen with me. But it'd be interesting scientific study to find out if it really calms people. And
It was probably a psychological thing.
yeah,
I mean,
it'd
I'm
be
okay
interesting to
with
find out, because what calms people? I mean, when it comes to rules knowledge, and some people are calm because they study the rules, they know them inside and out. To me, I can know the rules inside and out, but when to apply them, when to use
Right.
human judgment. To me, knowing the rules is one thing. When to apply them is a completely different thing.
Well, at least I know what to get Tanya for Christmas, a pack of gum, right?
that.
You know it. That is no joke. She gets
Spearmint,
gum.
peppermint.
She gets gum every Christmas from
I
everybody in
do.
the family.
I do.
So rules. What's your pet peeve, Tanya, on rules?
So-
I know. I don't even know why I asked the
I
question.
know. Why are you asking that?
Jewelry.
Uniforms need to be tucked in.
Jewelry.
And jewelry.
So which one is worse for you, uniforms or jewelry?
Oh, that's a good question. It's probably pretty equal. My thing is with uniforms is just tuck your jersey in, and tuck it in, so I don't have to keep asking you to tuck it in, which is it becomes annoying. I've asked you to tuck it in, and then they halfway do it, or and they look at you like they're frustrated. Okay, but it's part of the rule. You need to tuck your jerseys in. But more so, it is probably the jewelry, because they try to sneak, try to put tape or Band-Aids over it. Well, that's not what the rule says. The rule says no jewelry, not try to hide it.
Oh, but I can't take it out. Absolutely cannot take it
Absolutely,
out.
I've had a player tell me that I absolutely cannot take it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just
You don't
got
have
it.
to
I got to
take it
keep
out.
it in.
I got to keep it in. I can't take it out.
Enjoy that while you're on the bench.
Coach, she won't let me play.
And with that note, we're going to move on to our third quarter conversation. And, sorry. Stop doing that. Oh,
Is that the kind of horn we hear in the game?
I
don't
guess.
know.
It depends. How many times are they trying to get our attention?
No, the only time you hear that horn in the game is when there's a fire or fire drill. Everybody's got to leave the gym
Right.
in January, in shorts.
Yeah.
Ain't happening.
No.
I'll stay in here where the fire is warm.
Hey, I've been going to the Y quite a bit lately, and over the last couple weeks, randomly the fire alarm will go off, and everybody just kind of stands around. We all like, okay, whatever, we're gonna keep working out. So we're gonna talk now about why
Is there a need of officials?
need of officials. So we hear so much about, there's a shortage of officials, that we're trying to trying to figure out a way to increase our games. We're having games canceled because there's not enough officials. What is your take on that? How do you?
I guess my take is I don't understand why. I hear officials say it's because of money. I wish we'd get money. Good example, Club One or something like that. They don't want to do it because of pay. And I look at, people are getting paid $30, and it's $30 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I go, where else can you go?
Tax free.
Yeah.
And most people don't get that at their job.
But I think they're so used to officiating a freshman JV or high school game and getting double the pay. So that's what they set that plateau at,
Yeah.
and that's what they expect.
Well, now
that's a good
devil's
point.
advocate though, we're getting paid $30 an hour to go do a Club One, a Sport One, or Speece, whatever.
Is it 30? Did they bump it up to 30 now?
I think it's only like 25.
25 maybe,
25.
yeah.
But when we go out there with AAU, we're getting paid less and dealing with more
stupidity.
craziness,
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
Yeah, but
Whereas if I go to a freshman game, a JV, or a varsity game,
Yeah.
well, we have the AD, or whatever who is there, and a lot of times they have
Security.
there.
Yep.
So if there's a fan that needs to be removed, they go take care of that, and we don't have to worry about being threatened or
Right.
being chased down or anything. So I guess in that respect, we're looking at, well, I'm getting paid less and dealing with more craziness. So is that?
To be honest with you, it's very rare I run into a situation where it's out of control. Just to the fact I've learned over, my 4th year into it, the more intense the game, the closer you call the game.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You call, even if it's a 6th grade AAU game, you call it like a high school game, and it usually shuts the crowd up and the coach down because...
That's a good point, Tom. But, I think as I listen to you talk and I look at the kind of person you are, having known you over the last 4 years, you come from a professional background of managing people. So you understand the basics of something that simple. This is how you manage people. It's a basketball game, but I know how to manage people. The stuff is getting crazier, so now I have to be a more hands-on manager.
Correct.
And I think the three of us know that because we've been exposed to professional leadership positions. But a lot of people who come into officiating that maybe have been a worker all their lives and they've never been in a position of managing people,
Correct.
They freak out in those situations, and then it becomes chaos for them. Like I walked into where I was reffing last night in the men's league, and they told me that craziness had went down just before that. And I won't mention the two officials, but they're officials who came through our training. We both know them, and they still need a lot of training because one of them is very, very shy. You know who I'm talking about.
Okay.
He's very, very laid back. The other one can be a little grouchy when people use certain titles towards her. But the thing is, they don't understand how to manage people. And when you understand how to manage you, and before you even spoke, I said, I know it's going to come out of his mouth. I thought what you were going to say is, I haven't seen a lot of craziness like that. And then that's what you're saying.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you know how to manage people.
And it also helps. I feel I have a class A type personality.
Yeah, you are.
And if you're in that personality,
Yes.
it could be intimidating and stuff like
Yes.
that. You got to take the bull by the horns
Right,
too.
Right.
So.
And when I walked in last night to that game, I didn't do the one prior, but as soon as the game was over, I'm going downstairs. Some of the players are still talking about the melee that went on. And the girl at the table was saying that she goes, oh, he called me a B, and then he's threatening me. And I said, if I had been there, that wouldn't have happened. And she looked at me. I said, if I had been here, that would not have happened. I said, the moment they address the table, they got to deal with me. And I had a couple situations last night, and I was kind of feeding off what went on before. And as soon as the guy started, he started saying, I made a call. He was like running off. Oh, I can't believe. And then we made another call at the other end. He acted. I said, come here. I said, come here. He come over. I said, dude. And I smiled. I said, why you got to question I just started. Why you question me at the beginning of the game? And he starts laughing. He goes, man, my bad. I'm sorry, man. But that's managing people.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's taking it. So I realized if I run crazy with it too, now we're going to really have chaos.
Right.
But you got to know when to smile, when to joke with people, when to go over there, and when to be assertive.
Which it's taken you how many years to get to that point?
Well, since you started coaching me, it didn't. You started coaching me like 2 months ago, and I've just hit the top since then. Because
High five. Yes,
oh, whatever.
nice
Okay.
All right, so now we're going to go on into our
Fourth
fourth quarter.
I gotta get my horns together.
All right.
Wait a minute, see
I
if
know you
got it.
do.
Wait a minute. Wait.
Shut your horn off. Okay.
Fourth quarter. You hear the people in the background?
All right, so to
That's pretty
follow
good.
up with our need of officials, to follow up on need of officials, what do you think as far as how to recruiting? So, Crane and I have been kind of recruiting and training for the last 10 years.
12.
12 years? Okay. So with our school, referee training school, what are some suggestions, ideas that you may have for training and recruiting purposes?
I know I saw an email a couple weeks ago go out where like Sports One, Club One's doing
Yeah.
the 1 hour thing, and I
And
guess
theirs is free.
I was I guess I was a little disappointed
Why?
just to the fact that I think people, the way they worded it, hey, if you want to make some extra cash, and they put the cash amount, $25, $30 an hour.
Right.
I think that's going to draw just anybody and everybody, just for the money wise instead of the love of the game. So me personally as a referee, I'm sitting there going, okay, I'm going to get stuck with
Yeah.
someone that doesn't really care to be here
Correct.
Right.
You're right.
versus someone that's taking it serious and trying to do justice of the game and stuff like that. I like, but this is my opinion and not being biased, they should go to a school or training class like yourself. Go into the detail versus these 3 1-hour sessions, and now you're blessed to go out referee.
Yeah.
Right.
It's very difficult. You need to go through, and I was very fortunate to go through your school. I came across it. It builds confidence
Yes.
because you got to understand the rules before you step on the court.
Mm-hmm.
That way you gain a lot of confidence and you know what you're talking about. You aren't guessing and relying on your partner, hey, bail me out kind of thing. So.
Right.
Now that's a great point because I hadn't thought of it like that, but a season, not quite season, you're getting there, but an official who's experienced working with a green person who comes in and they're not really, number one, they haven't been trained very well. Because when I saw the training and the amount of time, I was thinking, ooh.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
It takes a lot longer to learn this than, and I think they gave them 4 or 5 sessions and you have to come to at least 2 minimum.
Yeah.
Well, I understand what they're doing because we need to get bodies on the court.
Yeah,
That's
we
what
need
it
bodies.
is.
I
We
get
need
it.
officials. But at the same time, like you're saying, Tom, we need efficient, quality officials.
It's going to turn off the seasoned, so to speak, officials away,
Right.
where they aren't going to do that. Because you find yourself crossing over
into their primary.
Primary.
Yeah, that's a good point. I hadn't thought of that, and hopefully, like I had a young lady I was talking to at Trine University. I was up there doing a volleyball match, and she comes up to me. She says, "You don't remember me, do you?" And I was like, "No, dear, I don't." And she's, "You used to ref me?" I said, "You played volleyball?" "No, I played basketball." And I was like, "Okay." So we touch, and I said, "Have you ever thought about officiating?" Because I'm always Mr. Recruiter.
Yep.
And she goes, "I have." I said, "Great." She said, "I don't know where to look." I said, "Look at me." And she goes, "Huh?" I said, "We do a training school." Oh, so we traded information, and then I sent her the website, and she sent me back a message, which I wasn't shocked by. She goes, "Well, I can't afford that money right now. I can't afford to pay for that class right now." And I'm thinking, okay. And then I said, okay, and I said, no worries. And I sent her the free information. I said, this is a free class if you're interested. I haven't heard back from her. But that, it didn't bother me because I know in business, if a person is not willing to invest in themselves to go learn something correctly, then they're not really interested in doing it correctly. And again, I don't want them if they're not serious.
Right.
I guarantee, and this is me speaking, those free sessions, they will not take the time to read the book, study the book. They will take that
They focus on the money.
Or that limited time they're in front of that and just think they're going to be a referee and they could go out and do it.
Yeah, you're talking about, how as a seasoned or a veteran official, how we'll end up being maybe in their area,
Yeah.
Well, I really, even when I'm working with somebody new or green, I really try to stay out of their area and let them suffer, with what they call or don't call. But the thing that gets me, what irks me is when they don't know their area and they're calling my lines or they're calling in my area. No. And we've got some, we do have veteran officials, and I say veteran loosely, but they've been officiating a long time, that they still call out of their primary, out of their area. And so that is very frustrating. I'm sure I'm not perfect and I'm sure I've done it, but, I really do try to focus on, staying in their primary. So hopefully.
I've worked with you. You're close to perfect.
I'm close.
That's the second most thing I've learned when I took your schooling, primary. The number one is ball watching. Don't watch the ball. When
You're not a fan anymore when you're an official.
BWs.
You don't get to watch them dunk and that was nice.
The
you don't
BWs
get to,
are hard to work with. I was working with a BW last night, and he's looking out of my area, and I'm like, oh. Okay. And I called him out at a timeout. I said, come here. He said, what? I said, come here. He comes over. I said, you remember what we taught you in class about BWs? He goes, oh, I wasn't BW. I said, there was a play happening right in front of me, and you called it. You way over there. He goes, oh, well. I said, no, you did it down that end. Oh. So, yeah.
All right. On that note, I want to say thank you guys for listening. Thank you, Tom, for joining us today. We greatly appreciate it, and we'll look forward to working with you on the court.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yep. Thanks.
Appreciate you, big dog.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Thanks again for listening to RefTime, powered by RefTrainingschool.com and Hoosier3on3.com. Produced by Coraggio Media, RefTime is recorded in WELT Studios in beautiful downtown Fort Wayne, Indiana.
To join RTS, visit reftrainingschool.com. Please like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Until next time.